course of the fine state of Florida. I'm talking about Congressman Jared. Thank you for that. To a guy who's trying to cobble together something with his fellow Republicans, not fellow, but his colleagues who are Republicans. He's Democrat, of course, of the fine state of Florida. I'm talking about Congressman Jared Moskowitz back with us. Congressman, always great to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Neil. Thanks for having me.
Where does this stand, and do you think a deal can be struck?
Yeah, right now, obviously, it's still in the negotiation phase. I think a deal can be struck. I am for a deal. I do think we have a major problem at the border. I do think we should address it. But the problem is right, how can we fix the border when we can't fix Congress? We have members up here that are literally saying out loud, some of my colleagues across the aisle, that they don't want to fix the problem at the border because they don't want to give Democrats a win. And quite frankly, that's been the problem with the issue on immigration. We've been not willing to address it for the last several decades. Under several presidents here in Washington, we like to not solve problems because we don't want to give the other side a political win, or we want to keep the issue because we want to fundraise off of it. I'm willing to work with my colleagues across the aisle to address all of the issues going on in the border, fentanyl, folks coming in illegally, dealing with some of the asylum issues, and I hope we get a deal, Neil. It's critical to the country.
Well, it is, but the argument is that the president doesn't see the severity of this and that he's holding it back. Now, he talked about needing money to do some of the things that he wants to do, but that has not been really the issue here. It's been his reluctance to acknowledge the seriousness of the problem. And I'm just wondering, does that make it too late to solve the problem, at least before the election?
No, it's not too late to solve the problem. And in fairness to the president, actually the president has come out even more to the right of a lot of the rest of the Democrats up here on Capitol Hill, saying he's willing to do a number of things on the border, some of them actually out of H.R. 2, which was the House bill. There were some good things in that bill that I think a lot of members can support. So I think the president's trying to address it. I think what's happened now is the political calculus. With the president coming out saying, I'm willing to address it, there are now members saying, well, should we address it, or should we keep it a problem so we can use it in the next election? You know this, Neil. It doesn't matter who's in charge up here. Once we get into election year, everyone starts jockeying to figure out what can help them in the next election. I certainly get that, Congressman, but in the press time we have, sir, I mean, we're looking at in the latest period, the fiscal first quarter, we're running about a $500 billion debt in that period. And if you multiply that times 4, you're talking about a $2 trillion added to our debt. Now, it's going to be under this president's watch. It was a lot under the last president's watch. It doesn't seem solvable at this point. Well, look, when we say is the situation solvable, we can do a lot of mitigation, right? Yeah. Not everything is, quote unquote, solvable immediately, but there's a ton of mitigation that I think we can be doing to lessen the situation at the border. So you're optimistic a deal can still be struck? Well, yeah, let's not forget, Israel and Ukraine, and that's the whole conversation. We still got to help our friends in Israel. I hope to pass a bipartisan package on that, as well as Ukraine. Obviously, we can't let Putin just take a sovereign nation. The United States has to continue to stand up for that. Congressman, thank you very much for joining us. Jared Moskowitz of the beautiful state of Florida. That'll do.